to another episode of the Darkrast podcast, everybody's favorite conversational show where two friends casually chit-chat for a whole hour on purpose. I've never done an intro like that before. I've only really calmly been hey, welcome to the Darkrast podcast.
Like on NPR?
Yeah. I try to get a little ASMR in there, put him to sleep.
Really good.
Today I'm hanging out with my homeboy Francisco Herrero. Said that like a true white man. He is. I always thought it was cool that you're from another country, Argentina.
Yeah, some people forget that when they've known me long enough.
So I'm a Utahn and you're an Argentine. So those are both words that end with N, kind of. I don't know a smooth transition off of that, but you lived there until you were 7.
Yeah, I almost stayed, but yeah, 7.
Cool. I'm glad that I remembered that. And you said that what was growing up in Argentina like that you remember? Like what stood out?
I remember walking a lot, just everywhere, because that was the cheapest mode of transportation in the big city.
Yeah.
And then I know it's weird because I've only been able to go back and visit once, but the one time we did go, we would go to old neighborhoods and shit, and I would get I would smell certain smells and it would trigger memories.
Oh yeah.
Right then and there, this and this happened here when I was little. It's the weirdest thing ever.
I hear that all the time. They say for taking tests that, chewing gum will, sprout the memory just because it's affiliated with another sense.
Yeah.
So it's a good, memory trick.
Or if you take the test the exact same way you studied, pretty much.
Yeah.
They say that helps.
That's super cool that smell.
Mm-hmm.
That's super cool. When did you do that? How old were you when you went back?
I want to say it was 2004, so 16.
16?
Yeah.
What was that like? Was it were you excited to kind of go back and visit? Do you have, a fondness of home?
Yeah. My whole dad's family, they've always lived there their whole lives, but I went with my sister. It was our senior trip pretty much when we were getting done with high school just about.
Yeah. But
we were both pretty excited. So it's weird leaving a place when you're a kid and then going back when you're fully aware of everything.
So is it like a city?
Yeah.
So pretty connected place.
The capital we were from, it's Buenos Aires. There's I want to say 19 million people that live there.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's a big giant fucking city.
That's crazy. So when you say that you walked everywhere, you were walking across city turf?
Yeah, city blocks.
That's busy.
So
that's exciting.
Yeah, I just remember all the trap. Maybe that's why I like cities. Probably
you are. Yeah,
I'm always drawn towards them because of the sounds, the noise.
And I always secretly judge you for it. Was it
this liberal bastard?
Did you go to Chicago?
Yeah, we've been.
See, when you said Chicago, I was just scared. Because Salt Lake City scared me when I was growing up because I grew up in a ridiculously small town.
Yeah.
And so when I heard city, I didn't affiliate all of the positives that I know exist there now. Culture. Mm-hmm. There's way more culture. Just pick and choose per block. But I always thought of crime and devastate because that's also a bigger number because per capita, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you are drawn to cities though. That's crazy. I didn't know that the city you grew up in was that big.
Oh yeah, it's fucking huge.
So why did your family move to? Did you just land in Utah?
Sacramento first, in Cali.
So California.
That was the first year, and then the rest of the time we've been pretty much stuck here in Utah.
Are the other are the other states like Nevada and the states in between us are they just as California centric? Because Utah's got tons of population that move here from there.
I'm not sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Utah is crazy Californian influence coming in.
I feel like we just skip over Nevada. And they're like,
I do
"Fuck
too.
that place."
Nevada's fucking empty.
There's not much there besides the Vegas area.
And Utah's pretty dope. I mean, it's got, as someone who travels a lot, do you appreciate the state? Because it's got a little bit of everything. Like, the culture's a little flat, but the as far as natural stuff, it's it's crazy.
In terms of that, it's by far one of the best. But I've always like had this like inner battle where I, for whatever reason, have never really fully liked Utah. So I'm never like.
Well, it's probably it's the
it's
the political
instinct.
side.
Yeah,
you're actively pursuing and following and entertaining like a lot of political thoughts that you share with people, and you know you're a part of that. You're a part of that conversation.
Then having like being raised and growing up Mormon, obviously that's a big part of it too.
Yeah. Well, no, that's something that is like people who are from Utah, I guess, understand our version of it. I'm sure this exists in other states, but you grow up in a religious community that's in a very red state. Like it's super Republican here, and so those two things like together, it's not hippy dippy la la do whatever you want land. Like you get funny looks for being different. You know, it's that type of place. It's probably everywhere. I don't know. Yeah. I only know here because that's where I grew up. So I always think that I'm like everybody's probably got the same fucking story, right? Because they probably have the same neighbors, and they just if they didn't go to church, they were way into school. I don't know, like just swap out the stereotypes. But so. You just got into a new band.
Yeah, Gel City Rockers.
Gel City Rockers.
It's cool because I've been a fan of theirs for years because I used to play shows with them with some of my other older bands. I've known these dudes on and off. So, like, I don't know how long it's been up, but it's got to be at least easily 4 years that I've known the guys.
Yeah. So that's how many, like, okay, not how many bands have you been in, because that's like I don't know, could be a complicated question, but like what brought you into like a more local public band scene? Because I can see people being a hobbyist really easy. I think that's easy to understand, someone sitting down and, you know, like strumming with the guitar or rocking on some drums and kind of doing, you know, some practice and stuff. But like, how do you transition from that into wanting to like pursue music as like a pretty serious endeavor?
I grew up with music in general. It's funny because like, Argentina's known for tango. It's like completely different than what I mostly listen to now, punk. But yeah, like we'd always have like tango playing in the house. When we moved here, my mom would always be listening to like Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey. So like, music was just there all the time, like in the background in one way or another.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's always been in my life, and as soon as I got older, I got into more of the bigger bands, and I like got obsessed with concerts and going to them. And
because you're so from episode 2, Nate that was on the show and you know Nate, he's super video games, like other things too, sports and pop culture and everything else, but super video games. And I can see you as I mean, I guess you're like super pop culture, but I identify you most as a musician because that's like your standout hobby, right? Like you pursue it on a level that takes some commitment, and you you're getting affiliated with more and more serious things. Like you're scaling up all the time with that. Yeah,
thankfully.
Yeah, so I don't know, like that's just fascinating to me that it's just kind of, I mean, you do it, you go to shows all the time. You're super supportive of local artists for sure. And I think that's the thing that's really appealing is on a local level being involved in that community. I'm learning now after like moving from city to city. Over here it's a lot bigger. I'm not part of any community like that because you actually have to try.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. That's just fascinating to me. Like, what's that scene like?
Here, it's been pretty good for me so far. The majority of the shows I've gone to, there's always a pretty good turnout. And yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of got used to like the small town local music scene, which is kind of weird because like you literally have say 10 to 15 bands made up of the same like 30 people.
Sure.
They just kind of alternate.
No, I saw that.
Yeah.
And I understood that more in Logan in northern Utah. It's very like that.
And here, like obviously living in a bigger city like here, you get like way more opportunities to like open up for international bands, touring bands, like how we're opening up for the UK punk band The Vibrators that have been around forever. Like that would have never happened in where we were before.
That's super cool, and congratulations, because that's exciting. I think it's really I don't know, but it seems like it'd be really gratifying for that to happen, to like open for someone that you're very aware of.
And especially it just being my second show with this band, it's pretty badass.
That's a cool feat.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man, where should I dive here? I'm trying to pick like a starting point. Like what what's the lifestyle like? How does the process of being dedicated to music work? Like with me, I kind of just peruse the internet and dick around all day. With you, it's a little bit more serious, so you have to like a fair amount of practicing.
First couple months, it's just you just get infuriated with yourself and you try to learn your instrument as best as possible. Like I was self-taught because I just learned how to play by ear.
Yeah.
And thankfully.
And you're a bass player.
Yeah, I'm a bass player.
Do you play other things as well, or?
I originally wanted to play guitar, but I didn't realize that I was just playing the bass line the whole time anyway. Because at the moment when I first started playing music, I was dating this girl that was also a musician. And she's someone that pointed it out. She's like, no, you're playing the bass line. I'm like, no, it's the guitar. He's like, yeah, but you're playing, like, the fucking bass line.
So it was just pretty natural to you.
Yeah,
like,
I guess.
to follow that.
It always stuck out to me, I guess.
Right.
I just didn't realize it.
Because aren't instruments, I'm assuming they feel really specific. Like, they match up with different types of people, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you could say that. For me personally, like now that I've been playing it for over 10 years, like I do notice that like if I'm listening to a song, that's the first thing that sticks out to me, like what's their tone like, what's their style they're playing like small things like that about just the bass. And then
well, it's kind of like what I would say with my ear for it's kind of stupid sounding, but like just general voicing. So like with podcasting or articles, I love dissect because it's all the same shit. Everybody's talking about all the same shit. And so finding the flavor that really makes sense to you is something that I'm capable of doing very quickly now. It's more natural for me to skim out all the crap that I don't want in my feed.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, I try to make like simplified analogies just to like implant that for, because I like that. I like I don't know, learning about this. So you situated yourself as a bass player, and then what was I don't know, like I guess what was the city to city transition like for you? Because
being in a band.
Yeah. Because you just joined the Jail City Rockers.
But before that, like, I hadn't played for like almost 2 years, which was weird.
Is that right? Was it that long?
Because I was in one band for like a month and a half, but that didn't work out, obviously. But before that, like I would always be asking people, like, hey, like who wants to start a band, whatever. But
so you were scouting, but you just didn't really get.
That is one thing that surprised me, how much harder it is to start a band here, because everybody's so much more spread out, obviously.
Yeah. Well, something that I weasel into like every one of these conversations is just a little bit of self-reflection because I'm an egotist. But I mean, yeah, that with my like multimedia endeavors. Honestly, since I Endeavors is like my word of the day, apparently. That's the second time
Everybody scream.
That's a big one. Endeavor. But I have been, I mean, and you've been victim of this. Like, when I want to do a project, I try to tell all my friends. And I try to pull everybody in, and I wanted to do, like, a specific thing. That was the thing that didn't make sense to me, because I'm like, guys, doesn't everybody want to, like, party and have the funnest job in the world? But then when it came to, like, the critical stuff, that's when it wasn't as fun, because, you know, we weren't having as much fun. It got really technical.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that people, I think, underappreciate with things like bands or even you know, like this podcast.
All the
it's
work
like,
that goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, because even though I try to be very casual about this podcast, I still take it really seriously. I edit it, I go through, I listen to it 3 times, I dissect, you know, I balance the levels, I try to come up with imagery. Like, it all is thought of. And so, I don't know, that's where my mind goes when you're talking about music stuff, just because I can see, like, trying to find band members is probably felt like almost a desperate pursuit for a minute.
Yeah, and at that point I had gone so used to being in band after band after band that I was like...
Were you a little jaded?
I don't know if I'd say...
Is that the right word? No?
I think I was just used to it. So, like, when it didn't come as easy, being able to find people, I was like, well, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, I literally, for a second, I was like, I guess I'll just sell my shit and that's it for music then.
Yeah. So on that note, not to, like, shift gears too hard, because I want to talk about more music stuff, but you're also, like, really into pop culture. I think that's the second thing that I really enjoy about, like, you know, me and you talking about things, is because you're always in the ballpark of things that make sense to me. Like, you're talking about superheroes and video games and the latest movies, and, you know, you're very aware. Like, you're totally in. If I need a reference on something nerd culture related, I could probably hit you up and you'd let me know immediately. So, like, what brought you? So you grew up with music. What brought you into the nerd culture?
Having grown up watching Batman the Animated Series. Yeah. That was, like, my big show, and then, yeah. And it was mostly just that, yeah.
Really? It just spiderwebbed from that?
Like, I remember watching the Turtles in Time, where they, like, travel through time in the Ninja Turtles movie, the old school ones. I remember watching that in theaters with my dad, stuff like that.
I see, and I mix them up, because to me, I thought, is Turtles in Time the video game?
Oh, shit, you're right.
That's number 4,
yeah,
right?
I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah, the side-scroller beat 'em up.
I'm thinking of, like, I think it was, like, movie number 3 or 4 or something.
See, I remember the first one, just Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because it was self-titled, right? The first one?
Pretty sure.
I remember that one very clearly.
Yeah.
Because I think my brother picked it up, you know? Just whatever he had was an influence on me. So
yeah, it was like things like that was kind of, like, peppered in through my childhood.
Yeah.
Like, I even had, like a Batman, like, sticker collection book that I was, like, so, like, sad about leaving behind when we moved here.
Sticker books. That's
dedication.
That's a specific fucking age. That's like your, what, 7?
Yeah, I was probably like 5, 6.
Like, it has to be like 6 or 7, because beyond that, who cares for stickers? You're on to more.
It's a very
I can keep this
target
longer.
audience.
Yeah, I love it though, dude. It's so. Did your, like? I know your dad's into football. He's into soccer. Did he, like, kind of influence you in like cartoons and stuff like that in any way, or your mom? Like, were they like very influential media wise? Because mine, I mean, my mom had a TV on, but I certainly picked what I liked, like, with little to no influence from her.
Like, they let me watch all those old school shows, but I don't remember, like, them specifically watching something and me being like, oh, this one my dad or one my mom likes, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know, just allowing me to watch it, I guess.
Because my mom just, like, had a channel going, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then later it just turned into, like, the fucking news. Like, all
Yeah.
day. I don't mind if you'd keep up on things, but all day.
Yeah, it got a bit
I had those parents.
a little depressing after a
Oh, my
while.
God. Yeah. That's crazy, though, Batman, because I think my first one, like, my big, huge revolution that I remember was the Pokemon craze.
Yeah.
When I was 8 years old. It was unreal. Because it had gained enough traction that there was, like, so much shit. Like, I think that's what's kind of fun about that age, is when you're that young, you could catch shit 2 years late, and it doesn't even, like, click that you're watching it late. Because now we're so connected with, you know, the internet and just the way things are now, that you know if it's on, you know if you're on time watching something, right? And I played Pokemon Gold and Silver. My mom bought me Gold and Silver for Christmas, and I kept Gold. And I said, you can take the other one back because they're the same, I think. And I played the fuck out of that, and I think I played it, like, later than everybody else. Because, like, Pokemon boomed before that.
Yeah.
That's the second game iterations. Everybody talks about Red and Blue. I was playing Gold, and I was like, oh my God.
5 years later.
Oh, dude. So, what are some other big ones from your childhood? You got Batman, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Silverhawks.
What's that?
You never seen Silverhawks?
No.
Oh my God, it's so good. It's kind of like, it's like early Power Rangers meets Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, it's like this team in outer space, and they fight this guy. Can't remember his name, but, like, the villain, like, turned into, like, a half man, half octopus type thing to fight him.
Okay.
That was crazy. They had, like, all these armors and, like,
I love that era.
Yeah.
Man, so creative.
Same era as, like, Thundercats. I grew up watching Thundercats also.
Okay.
That helped.
See, I know that, but I didn't watch them. Me and you were really close in age. How old are you?
I'm 30.
30?
Yeah.
So 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess 2 years is a lot in the 90s.
Yeah.
I guess you could say that about any decade. What the fuck do I know? I'm just saying that because 90s is what I know.
90s now seems like.
I'm so fucking aware of how ignorant and dumb I sound all the time. You know what I mean?
What is time, man?
But that's just wild because I guess I just don't remember. I probably just don't remember as early as other people because of when my brother hit me in the head with a baseball bat.
Whoa,
that he told me. I think he told me that like a year ago. And I was like, I never knew that happened.
You're like, that makes so much fucking sense.
That's the reason why I'm the way I am. But God, I just remember, like, I feel like they're more obvious, but maybe they're not. Like Yu-Gi-Oh and Digimon, Pokemon, you know, like it was kind of getting into the merchandising really heavily, like card games.
Yeah.
So when card games took off is really when I started to, I think, sink my teeth into these like little communities that ran through schools and stuff. It's really fun. Did you, were you social about, like the cartoons you liked, and did you play video games back then?
I wasn't social just because of how shy it was, all the way through elementary and middle school.
Yeah.
But yeah, I grew up. I had a cousin.
Was everybody just like, who's that quiet kid with the beard?
Yeah, they always call me like the quiet guy. Yeah, my facial hair probably started growing when I was like 8.
Oh man!
Showed up to school looking like Cheech with a full mustache.
Dude, Jeff, he had a fucking mustache in 6th grade.
What?
No shit. And then the beard came later. It was amazing. It was thick as hell.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
Do you have any pictures?
It's got to be in a yearbook or something. I'm always surprised though when I look at yearbooks because I think I have the pictures cemented in my mind now, but I think after taking the pictures, waiting a few years, and then looking at them, I was like surprised.
Like at yourself or just
Yeah,
other people?
because I'm like, I swear to God, I didn't look that goofy or dorky. You know what I mean? I look back and I was just like, ooh, maybe I gave myself too much credit.
I'm the same.
Yeah, because I used to remember, like, I was like, oh, I had long hair. It was so awesome. And it was like, it got down to my shoulders. It was a bald guy, that's where my mind goes. But, dude, I probably had that long hair for a month. The rest of it was all growing and just in awkward stages of in-between ideas,
Mm-hmm.
which is very much teenager.
Yeah.
Do you like thinking about school and stuff?
I didn't start enjoying school until college.
Yeah?
I hated, just mostly because of like the culture in school, at least like in a small little like hillbilly town like Logan.
Oh yeah, no, Utah's redneck, dude.
Yeah, it's rough.
It really
if you're
is.
Not redneck and Latino or any other culture.
Since you're Latino, did you hang out with like Latino kids? Because at my school, they all did. They all hung out with each other.
So I'm stuck in this fucked up little gray zone where I'm too white to be Latino, but too Latino to be anything else. So everybody would be like, oh, like you're Latino, fuck you. And then I go with like the Latino people and be like, oh, but you're too light skinned.
Just
gringo.
enough. Just
like,
enough
okay.
to make the white people think you're stealing shit.
Yeah, just enough for them to like have that little like speck of racism come through.
That's funny. My best friend for like a few years up until like our groups just kind of shifted, was a Mexican guy named Alejandro, and dude, he was awesome, and his family was just so different than mine. Like I went there and they were quiet. You know what I mean? And it felt like respectful. It was just an air of respect and kind of doing what you're told. And it was very like if it was just it was organized, and it felt very like parentally dominated, which was cool. And going over to my house, I had like I guess more freedom and less give a shit, and that has to be cultural. I don't know.
Less give a shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely like the Latino parenting style. It's like
It's more firm.
Yeah, like you don't do what I say, get kicked in the ass.
Yeah.
And then you just learn to not get kicked in the ass, hopefully.
And I always love, Ariana. She kind of, her and you and whoever have, like, just kind of shown me, like, it's so familial, though. Like, it's firm. In upbringing and stuff like that, and your boundaries, but very close families.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Did you guys cook a lot? Because you and Kara do, your wife, but did your parents cook and stuff?
My mom used to cook all the time. My dad's never been a cook, even this day. He just makes up horrendous recipes.
Oh, so he tries.
Yeah, you don't want him to try that. But yeah, my mom always used to cook when she was able to. So
yeah, because you guys cook like often, and you're very able. You're always doing like dishes. Because I'm so country raised, simplified. Like I can make French toast and like a hamburger. I don't know, things that are fairly simple. But you guys come up with like different pastas. And...
yeah, we have like a bunch of cool. Like the Thug Kitchen cookbooks, those are badass.
Yeah.
Like very simple. Well, not always simple, but easy to make recipes. I mostly like Kara's sous chef though. Like she's the brains behind everything. I'm mostly like I'm trying to keep. I call it the.
I like that sous chef.
Yeah, I call it like Hurricane Kara when she cooks because she gets everywhere.
Really?
And I'm just the one trying to contain everything at all times.
Are you a lot? Because you're a tidy guy. And I think that I'm pretty tidy. Like, am I?
Yeah.
Like, because this is how my place always is, with or without you.
Yeah, looks nice.
Cool. Well, now that I can feel good about that. Anyways, I noticed that Carissa likes things to be clean, but she's not the cleanest person. Are you the tidy one, Frank?
I think I might be the same way. I'm not always the cleanest person, but I try to be.
Yeah.
But then I'm always like keeping other messes clean, if that makes sense.
Sure. So there's kind of a balancing act going on.
Then it works because, like when we're cooking, like we're like the yin and yang. Like she makes the mess, I clean up.
Yeah.
Help each other. Works out.
I'm trying to get that going. It's been pretty great the last couple weeks because Carissa's been cooking more meals, and then that allows me to do the easy stuff, which is not ruin food. And I can like clean, I can like do the dishes and stuff, and it takes longer, I think, depending on what's going on, to do the dishes, because if you're doing the dinner dishes, there's dishes from the whole day.
Oh yeah.
And you got to do it all. And so it takes like long. I don't know. It seems like a good trade-off though. I would love it if she just like started to just go full blown. I enjoy cooking, but I just don't think either of us do.
Maybe she'll hear this and...
It's on our minds. We talk about it, as I complain because my tubby's not getting enough fucking num-nums for the week. No, we talk about stuff all the time. Man, that is... I don't know... Shit. What's on your, so what's going on with you nowadays? Because me and you were pretty similar as far as pretty general blue-collar jobs.
Yeah.
And we make enough. And now we just kind of have our normal jobs and our time. How's that feel for you? Like, are you, I don't know, just level with me.
I'm usually pretty sleep deprived just because we're night owls and we have early shifts for the most part.
Is that because you guys just like doing shit all night?
Yeah.
We
get FOMO pretty bad at night. We're like, oh, we could be doing this and this and this, and then by the time we know it, it's like 12:30 and we have like a 7 a.m. shift. And
so that's not just when we're around. You guys just always
just happens
do that?
all the time. And then we tell ourselves the next day we're gonna go to bed early, and we don't. But no,
it's kind of relieving to realize how many adults only get like 6 hours of sleep.
Yeah, it's weird because like when you're a kid, you're like, oh man, adults, they're so responsible.
Right? No.
And then you're an adult, and it's like, no, nobody is.
Nope. We're all just hanging on.
Yeah, but nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. But no, I'm kind of gotten used to the routine, working 40 hours a week, playing music. That's another big part why I wanted to get into music, is like to have like that stress relief there.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice.
Well, it's super different. I mean, you go to a normal job and then you're able to like go play a show and go out for the night, and you get to create. You get to share
hopefully
those.
Get paid if you're lucky.
Yeah.
On a good day.
Well, and I mean, sharing. I dub myself. Francois taught me this term, armchair philosopher. Just kind of like everyday philosophy stuff. And so I think about lifestyle all the time. And I think that's what I really wanted to do with this podcast, is just start kind of enjoying the lifestyle of just shoving a microphone between a couple people and listening to what they have to say. Because I loved other people doing that. And so I'm just like, drops in the ocean, baby. Let's just keep the podcast energy going. I think this is a fun medium.
Yeah.
And really it's just a platform for sharing yourself in a different way. And so looking at things in that way, I'm just like, drops in the ocean, just what's the specks of dust? Is that the other thing? But it's just I don't think that's the same one. I think I mixed up sayings. But with drops in the ocean, it's like, you can look at the big picture of what the end goal is, sure. Like everybody wants to achieve some success and notoriety with their pursuits. But ultimately, we like these things enough that we try to do them. Right? So, I don't know. Because don't you ask yourself, like, what if I just work my same job for, like, the next 30 years, and I just have to figure out what to do with my spare time?
Yeah. Music also helps with that, because, like, in the 2 years that I didn't play, it's not that I didn't do a lot, but, like, I just feel like I'm being way more productive, like, learning a song, and, like, picking up new techniques here and there.
Yeah, I think we need the stimulation of kind of like progression. So it's like with work, if you really hang in there with a company for a surprisingly short amount of time when you really look at it, you can hit the ceiling really quickly,
Mhm.
and then you just kind of have to enjoy that
Yeah.
until you decide to make a serious life change. And so, since that's pretty stagnant, especially in your late 20s, I feel like you get it. You get what's going on with like the workplace. You need progression. You need to like feel that somehow.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a break for a second. All right, so a hard jarring edit insert here because we just had somebody come into the place and got interrupted for a sec. We both have no idea what we were talking about, but that's okay because Frank is someone who falls into the theme of like people I hang out with. People who listen are going to notice that a lot of my friends are gamers. So you're a big time gamer, comic book guy. What's your favorite medium?
For like nerd culture?
Just period. You know? There's plenty of them.
Probably video games, but comic books are very close behind.
Yeah?
But comic books are like a newer thing for me compared to like video games.
How are you doing comic books nowadays? Are you going
I'm so far behind.
Are you doing digital or paper still?
Digital.
Yeah.
Just to save space.
Cuz you were doing like physical
and
copies.
My boxes got full
Yeah.
very fast. And I was like, you know what? I don't want 40-pound boxes.
Comic
So,
books
digital.
especially, because they don't even, they're super cool, but they don't display well unless they're individuals,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say.
Mm-hmm.
So they're storage boxes. You just keep them.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. So how was the transition to digital? You know, sorry for your loss.
I'm still learning to like it. It's not the same as, having the paper in your hand.
Yeah. Are you in
But,
tablet mode?
Yeah. I like it though. It's not bad.
Yep.
The colors are a lot more like crisp, obviously because you have an HD screen and all that shit, but
Yeah.
like quality
Well, because
wise,
LED screens now can produce colors that are better than real
and
life.
they're all the drawings are done digitally anyway, so it's meant to look better on a screen, I think.
I never thought about that.
Mhm.
They're designed on them, and they'll look enhanced on them too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, most comic book artists are using like iPad Pros and all that.
Are you into like the more nitty gritty comic scene, like Twitch streams and some more personal Patreon content or anything like that?
Not really.
Because you're a pretty big name, right? You go for
Yeah.
DC Comics. And,
Just mostly DC and Marvel.
Yeah.
But-
Who's better?
Shit. In terms of movies, Marvel. By a little bit. Just because I'm not. I still like the DC movies, even the bad ones. Just because.
Well, you're
I'm
you're
easily
a fan.
pleased.
We talked
Yeah.
about this recently.
Yeah, I'm not going to hate on it. I like both. In terms of comics and storytelling, I'd go with DC.
Yeah?
And characters.
Cool. Well, they seem like they have more, maybe a little more depth.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's up to interpretation, but as far as what I checked out with, Batman being the obvious multi-layered, dark character that he is,
Mm-hmm.
it's very, I don't know, there's something there. So, video games over comic books, though?
Only by a little at this point. Just because I haven't really had that much time to play games either lately.
Are you losing your spunk with games a little bit? Because I noticed that when I get older, I'm more and more less interested in devoting as much time to it.
Mm-hmm. I've become way more picky about it just because I know it takes me so long to finish a game since I don't have that much time.
Yeah.
Like I still haven't even. I'm not even halfway done with God of War. And
Wow.
everybody else in the whole fucking world has finished
Wow.
it like 3 times over.
I was there when you got that.
Yeah. And that's why, because I seriously pick up like my controller like once a week. And only for like half hour on average. That's
Is
about it.
that? Do you think that's gonna? Because so that made me think. With the way that we consume media now, as a majority, online in like a very feed fashion, it's very quick. Do you think that platforms like Netflix's popularity and things like it's like we have bite-sized stuff to where it doesn't feel like as much of a commitment, but for some reason, okay, let me not confuse this too much. Video games are longer, and so they require more investment of your time and energy and your mind, honestly, to play them. But with a TV show, you can multitask. With a quick video, you're done with it soon. Do you think that like changes the way that we want to do stuff as adults now? Because time's a huge deal. I mean, and you like multiple things, so it's like if you want to do multiple things.
Yeah.
You see where I'm getting at?
When it comes to like games, the reason why I don't play as often is because I won't be able to like set apart a little bit of time to actually enjoy it, so I don't feel like I'm speeding through it, like trying to cram 10 minutes in or whatever. Yeah.
No, you're not playing just to play.
Yeah, like I want to actually, like
absorb what's going on.
Yeah, learn the story and all that shit. With like Netflix and everything else, I feel like it's more like I can pay attention, but if I don't, I'm not like heartbroken over it. Like if I'm watching a show, I'm like, whatever.
Sure.
So it's almost like it's more disposable in a way because it's become more background noise than anything for people.
Well, in a TV show, what I'm noticing is over the arc of 10 episodes, you can get the general premise of everything going on pretty soon, pretty early on. Like you'll have surprises in stories and stuff, but if you were to describe the experience to someone else, you could describe it all, right? And with video games, you can do that, but it's different in the sense that the person generally has spent 20 to 40 hours doing a thing, so there's more context.
Oh yeah. And it's weird because like the Spider-Man game that just came out, I think I read somewhere that you can finish the main story in like 20 hours.
Yeah.
To me, that's a shitload of time. People that game all the time, that's like nothing for them. They always want like 60 hours and up. And I'm like, what? Like, where the fuck do you guys spend this time?
when you game that hard, that's when you're like, is $60 too much for a game? When you don't, you're like, I get it.
Yeah.
That's nuts though. So what's your favorite system ever? Because me and you both appreciate new and old. A lot of people are old, they just want to do the history.
I want to say Genesis just because that was my first big one, but I have to go with N64.
Really?
It's a classic.
Very cool. The intro to 3D graphics. So what games?
On N64?
Yeah. I played Diddy Kong Racing because my cousin had it, and I just was there for a weekend, and that game stuck.
I was obsessed with
what a
WWE No Mercy at the time.
No kidding.
Oh yeah, huge wrestling nerd.
So do you like all the wrestling coverage that's like tacked on with video game websites right now? Because there's like tons of it.
Yes and no, because I haven't really played the games in years. I just stopped giving a shit about wrestling in general.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, and it's weird because, like, I remember I went through a wrestling phase when The Rock was the champ. And then I kind of fell off. And then right now, I don't know if you've noticed, but if you follow, like, IGN, Polygon, the slew of them, they put, like, wrestling stuff all over. Everywhere. And I'm like, when did this become huge?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Their games like keep getting bigger and bigger with like more characters.
Damn. So what other games?
Mario Tennis was a classic.
I want to get the new one so bad.
It looks badass.
Yeah.
I want to play it so bad.
Mario games are the bomb.
Me and my sister would always play Banjo and Kazooie.
Yeah.
Did you ever play that? That was pretty awesome.
No, but I'm familiar.
There's one that came out.
I played Jak and Daxter, the PlayStation version.
Okay. There's a new one that came out. What the hell is it called? But it's like pretty much the same thing as Banjo. But it just came out
Ukulele.
Yeah. It's like the same concept pretty much.
Right. I think from some of the same creators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Racing games were always awesome, like Cruise in USA.
Yeah.
That shit was good.
It makes me like almost happy. I don't know why I think this, but it's like everybody always talks about GoldenEye being like this like godsend of a video game, and every time they say that I'm like, but it's GoldenEye.
Yeah,
You know, I'm like,
that's the thing. Like, I've never been a big fan of like the shooter games, so to me, it was almost more annoying how obsessed everybody else was with it.
so you felt it.
Yeah, because every fucking time you'd hang out with friends, it was always fucking GoldenEye. Every fucking time.
Halo I got.
Yeah.
Because Halo is like a science fiction space opera kind of thing going on, but I was like, this is just 007.
Yeah, and then like,
What's
I was
the
like
big
the
deal?
little Latino kid always wanting to play fucking FIFA 98, and everybody else looked at me weird. Like, you want to play a sport game? Yes, because I like sport games.
FIFA, what's that?
But yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I never got
Didn't get on that hype
on that
train.
craziness. Yeah, I was like,
It's nuts,
sweet,
man. with like game stuff in general, how do you, well, I guess just with your news in general, like where do you grab your info? Because you're in the loop on games and, you know, everything that's current. Like, are you a social media guy, or do
yeah,
you...
mostly through social media.
Really?
Yeah, I just follow a couple websites, the bigger ones, just because I don't know of any good small ones personally. Like IGN mostly.
Well, dude, the gap between as big as IGN and those couple giants to indie blog is...
It's like night and day still. Yeah.
It's crazy. Somebody...
Yeah, mostly IGN, like a little bit of GameSpot, but not really, because it's GameSpot.
See, and I look at GameSpot because IGN's very busy.
Yeah,
so
that
since
is true.
since I'm almost video game exclusive, you know, I'm just checking headlines real quick. If I dip into one of those, I'm in and I'm out. And with you, I can see you digesting more of the content on the page because of, you know, your more widespread interest and all that.
I used to watch actually GameSpot when they were. I'm sure they're still on TV somewhere, but like they saw like a TV show, but they talked about like games all day.
GameSpot?
Yeah,
Really?
I used to watch that shit.
Are you thinking G4?
What's the G4?
Because that was the channel, and it had like
Maybe that's what I'm
Attack
thinking
on
of.
the Show,
Oh yeah,
Attack
G4.
of the Show.
Yeah.
And oh, dude,
It had the weird blonde dude with the spiky hair.
Adam Sessler.
Yeah,
It was kind of bald.
kind of. Yeah,
Yeah,
he talked like really fast and
he's the bomb.
yeah.
He's so cool. He's somebody that was like a really good voice, I thought, because Kevin Pereira seemed more like an actor.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know. Those were the two dudes. I can't remember the girls' names. There was Morgan Webb, and Olivia Munn.
She was on there?
Yeah, it was her and Kevin Pereira.
Huh.
It's those two.
Damn.
And then it was Morgan Webb and Adam Sessler, the
Yeah.
guy that you remember.
But yeah, like I grew up watching like nerd TV like that too. Like on the down low.
Dude, I remember when I found that channel. Like, I don't know if you went through this, but I was shocked.
Yeah, I was like, there's a channel for this shit.
It's like, there's video games on TV, what?
Especially like when E3 would happen.
Oh
Like,
my
what
god.
the fuck?
The coverage was crazy. Back then, it was... I mean, even now, it's pretty hype.
Yeah.
But it's just different back then. You were starved for
Oh, yeah.
information.
Because you had like less outlets to go to, but now it's like everybody and their fucking docs there.
Oh, yeah.
Recording everything on their iPhone.
Yeah, you have a hard time getting the right feed because there's just as many
Yeah.
people on their phones.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that's crazy, though. Do you... I was thinking about this today. I was like, do I... Well, because you're so pro everything. You're very positive for all the things that you're, like, affiliated with like, pop culture stuff.
Like I'm easily pleased.
Yeah, you're a slut for it. No, but I wanted to ask, like, what's my deal with social media? What's not clicking with me? I'm having a hard time connecting with it right now. Because I think
it's just too much at once. Because I have days where it's like, do I need this shit? It's mostly, honestly, at this point, it's like for me personally, it's mostly for like networking purposes.
Sure.
Like, mostly for like the band. Like if we want to set up shows like in other states and whatever, it's easier to contact people through social media.
Yeah, because I mean, the one thing is if you spread onto Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, the big three, you're gonna hit quite a few people that are on there. A lot of them are inactive, but dude, shitloads of people aren't. So many people use it.
Yeah.
And I have such a weird relationship with it because I would rather have a Discord server would be like the new thing, of just like a condensed group of people that I enjoy sharing stuff with and posting videos and kind of being goofy as like a constant feed. And it's the same thing as like Twitter, Facebook, and the rest, but people prefer the bigger platforms.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering why I feel like such an odd duck here, because I just am not really connecting with like the media that's on there. It just doesn't seem interesting to me. I'm like, these people have more interesting things if they're here than what they're doing online. There's just a lot of random.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That's the thing, like when it comes down to it, you really only follow like very specific what's the word I'm looking for?
And you gotta fine tune your feed.
Yeah, like my feed, if you look on mine, it's all like comic book stuff and music stuff. That's pretty much it. Just because
Maybe I'm having a stuff crisis right now. Because even with video game news right now, I'm so not interested. And it's crazy. That's so crazy. But it's like I have a handful of games that I really want to play in depth. And I know the slow trickle of games that I care about. I mean, there's years that I mean, Cyberpunk 2077 was on my radar when it was announced. I have forever to wait on that, probably.
Yeah.
And then also when it comes out, I might not even want to buy it right then because I'm still going to be working on these other games. Like you were saying, hanging out and enjoying a game. I'm about that now. I used to spend money on everything I could. But then now, I don't make as much, and I just traded. I traded, like, comfort for money, and so the trade-off comes in, like, my game selections, and so now I'm just kind of milking what I have.
Yeah.
And so...
Or sometimes they, like, overhype a game so much that by the time it does come out, like, you don't even want to fucking deal with it, because it's like,
dude,
I
true
feel like
that.
I've already seen the whole thing, or, you know?
Especially on the AAA stuff.
Yeah.
They really go hard. But I don't know, man. And it makes me feel like good because I'm being very thoughtful towards what I'm consuming. But when I try to like weigh, do I have an attitude towards AAA now because of this? I don't know. Like, I don't know if we're just at a point now with media that the experiences are so rich that we genuinely need to slow down and take time on them. Like Nintendo, they don't put out 1 million first-party titles because they're pretty thoughtful.
Yeah.
And so that trickles a comfortable pace for me. So the news just isn't relevant. Like, as I'm going through my feed, that's, I think, the big disconnect happening is that, like, I want to know about some stuff, but I'm already tuned in on a few things that I really want to spend more time with.
And I think it also just comes with age. Like, you just get to a point where you just want to slow down and take everything in, compared to, like, when you were, like, 20 or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's just, like, an age thing, too. Where, like, actually... You can, like, break things down more in your mind so you don't need as much at once. You can, like, deal with the one thing for now and then worry about the rest later.
That makes a lot of sense, because, I mean, I am learning more about myself and how I want to spend my time. Kind of like you were, emphasizing time before.
Yeah. Like, for example, at one point when I was... I think it must have been, like, 2021. I would be working. I had a job. I was in 2 bands. And then I had school. Like, if I did that shit now, like, there's no way I could keep up with all that. But, like, back then I was like, oh, that shit's easy.
Well, you're interested in so many things, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're still exploring. I think that's what it is like, just self-realization.
Yeah.
Going on over time. Because you figure out what you like. And, no, that makes sense. I'm probably just way less interested in most things.
Yeah, that's okay too.
No, it's no. I like to spin the pessimism onto things for flair because that's what the kids like these days. But I really am taking in so much of my games now when I play them. Like right now, I'm on a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe kick because I got that for the Switch. which I would say currently, it's open to change, but currently, as far as consoles go, I love the Switch. It's probably my favorite console I've ever owned. Just because it feels so good. It feels so good to play on that system.
Mm-hmm.
And I love handhelds, and I love that you can dock it and buy a Pro Controller and just be set up as a normal console on TV experience too.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
Not to plug Nintendo so fucking hard, but I'm playing Mario Kart 8, and I'm just paying attention to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, optimizing my items and things like that so that I can get the most out of, the statistics of getting hit, just trying to play all that in your favor and catching all the boosts possible. You just start to like really examine piece by piece, and then I definitely appreciate aesthetics.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going through and just looking at everything.
Especially when they have like a photo mode, like in the games that have been coming out.
Mario Odyssey has
Jesus,
that.
Like it's almost like too much for someone like me, because I could like seriously just like start one image and be like, how the fuck did they do that? So
Have you seen Levi's stuff? Levi is, since he's so obviously like graphically inclined,
mm-hmm.
He makes the dopest shit in games.
Really?
So he'll make like custom cars and stuff like that in Forza,
mm-hmm.
and then he'll get screenshots of those cars in perfect settings. Like, it's the wildest thing.
Yeah.
When we were doing D-pad press, he made a D-pad press car and then took all these like pictures of it and stuff. And I was just like, dude, you can do so much cool shit in games. But I like with Spider-Man, you're playing the new Spider-Man game right now. You could probably go for days on photo mode.
Oh yeah, and I read a bunch of reviews where like the people that played him, even they themselves were like honestly like spent hours just swinging around, looking around, not even actually playing the story mode. Because it's one of those games that's been done so well.
Do you like that? Do you like slowing down and playing a game for a longer amount of time and playing less games as compared to getting through them faster?
Yeah, and I think especially when they're like really good games like the new Spider-Man, like God of War, I think that's why I'm almost like hesitant to finish it.
Yeah.
It's almost like I want to like hang on to that.
You know what I just thought of? And it almost makes me feel mean because I know it's like selective, but I don't think that me and you are super good at games, but we think about them the same way in that we appreciate the hell out of them.
Oh yeah.
Even though we're not like the masters of them, because most games I play, most of my friends are better than me. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, same with me.
I've got the basics. I can do platforming. I can shoot things, and I can play the games. But as far as competitive sense, I'm not good. But I love everything about them. Like, I love the industry is so transparent and fascinating. I mean, especially it's kind of been hard for me, if I'm being honest, to come to terms with like the post Gamergate era where we were all so open to like social awareness, and just understanding like representation of different races, classes, and et cetera, et cetera. All of that stuff happened, and the video game scene was like exploding with transparency, and wars were had on Twitter. You know what I mean? It just went. It was insane. And then after it calmed down a little bit, that awareness was just oh my god, I totally had a brain fart right there, and I feel like that's a really insensitive spot for that to happen. But anyways, video game journalism made me more socially aware, and I think that that's powerful because when it comes to that category in my mind, I'm pretty walled up. Like, I'm not very open to opinions as far as like how I should behave to other people. But then the video game scene with its like uber transparency honestly like shrunk me down to size a little bit, to where I was like, oh, maybe I'm wrong. Because as I was talking with people that were reading the same articles as me, they agreed with the articles. They were like, well, yeah, everybody should think of everybody's feelings. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Everybody's so soft. But then it just made sense. I don't know. So even on like worldviews, the video game industry is helping shape mine.
Yeah,
It's been so it's like a companion to me as a person. Like my analogy of life comes from that.
And that's how like music was for me growing up, especially like growing up with like in the punk community, with bands like Anti-Flag, Rise Against. Like
So what draws you to punk?
The sound, and I don't mind the politics because I know there's a lot of people. It's weird because there's people that like punk but they hate the politics of it, which makes no fucking sense when you look at the whole at the big picture of what punk is and how it started.
Political genre, right?
Basically, yeah. But I don't know. It was mostly like when I started going to the shows that I understood what it was about, like the community. And like if you go to like a metal show, for example, you have mosh pit, people are throwing punches. That's the point of getting your energy and shit out.
Yeah.
At punk shows, you push each other. If somebody falls, you pick them up because it's like one big like cohesive thing.
Sure.
So I thought that was pretty awesome. Like it's like a small gesture, but
yeah,
there was something about it.
I didn't mean to cut you off when I was like, "What do you like punk?"
Oh, no, you're good.
But so music's that life analogy for you. Then.
Yeah,
that's the biggest one.
And it's like I'm actually seeing two of the bands I've been listening to for the longest, Rise Against and Anti-Flag. I'm seeing them for like it must be like the 7th time each this Sunday.
Wow.
So it's like bands and people you kind of grew up with, and they kind of like shape your view on the world a little bit for the better.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
See, I feel like it's way cooler to say things like that than my version of the same thing. Because I have such like a man crush on Aaron Hansen from Game Grumps, and Carissa's very aware of it. And she gives me zero grief about it, which I think is so suspicious. I'm like, is this the most annoying thing in the world, and you're not telling me? Because there's just these certain people that make such a big impression on me, like Aaron Hansen, Ethan Klein, Tom Segura, these big heads. And that's got to be what the bands feel like for you, because you've just been following these people for such a long time, right? Yeah. Like, is that the same type of connection as you almost like do you read about them and, like, kind of see more of their bio?
Like with the bigger bands in general?
Just, the ones that are more important to you.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'm always, like, catching up on, like, what they're recording, what they're working on, release dates for whatever,
Yeah. Do you pull on their content for, like, obviously, I feel like I say such obvious shit, but it's fun to talk about. Like, do you pull on their content and find just, like, oodles of personal meaning and... like you just feel this relation to the ebb and flow of life via someone else's creative works, like
the older I've gotten, like the more the lyrics started mattering to me.
I'm big on lyrics. Yeah, I have to,
and that's why the bands that
there's so much hip hop that I don't like. In particular because like lyrically, I'm like, you don't understand.
Yeah, but like that was like a big part for me and. Like, it still makes sense, and, like, you find new meanings in certain words, and...
Yeah.
I know, it's cool.
See, the one thing that I don't think that I fully experience as much as other people, because I'm not very musically inclined, is the whole experience of, like, and I'm speaking kind of broadly, because there's certain albums I really connect with, like... I fucking love both Post Malone's albums to death. Everybody knows that. And then, like, Kendrick Lamar's Damn was extremely powerful. Like, a very good album. And more hip-hop stuff, because that's just the couple that I fell into. But beyond that, I mean, it was high school that I cared about albums that much. I mean, we're talking the span of, like, 8-9 years that I just was kind of devoid of any huge musical influence. Like, I always listen to music, but I don't feel everything from it because, like, I enjoy words too much, I think. So the fact that the words can be fairly repetitive and, there's more to a song than that comes from, like, the music.
And it's like that. It's almost like you get a feeling from certain songs when you're, like, at a live concert, which is another thing that's pretty awesome. or like sharing that moment with like the people in the crowd and stuff like that.
I love that you extend it out a little bit from like just the listening to the album to like going to the shows and you pick up merch. You're a collector.
Yeah.
Like you're the whole the whole music package. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried.
You want me to do some more flattery?
I was gonna say something, but I just forgot. I don't know.
Give it a second. Well, unless you remember in just a second, I think we'll cut off there while our momentum is high. This is Jake Stewart, homeboy, fresh, speaking with Francisco Herrero. They call him the moneymaker. I don't know, man. I don't know how to do wrap-ups or things like this yet. I feel like I had a really strong intro, so I thought I'd try nicknames at the end. Didn't really pan out. You can check out his band, jailcityrockers.com.
Mm-hmm.
It's spelled like it sounds. And you can check me out at darkrast.com. I keep on messing with the site. I'm going to show you after this, see what you think about it. But I keep on toying with it. That's like my hobby right now, is to dig into that and try to figure out a good flow of information. Because I want to be really simple.
But not too simple.
But not too simple.
Yeah.
But I'm also waiting on help. So I'm just kind of playing around. Because Levi, he's working with me on some branding stuff, and so I'm kind of just playing around right now. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Just doing some more friendly talk. Yeah, check out Frank's band. He plays really good music, and they're a lot of fun. And support your local artist, for sure. Frank's big on that, and I'm big on him. So, peace out.